So the latest episode of the YouTube documentary Becoming YouTube came out just a very short while ago, and it's centered around girls of YouTube. If you have about a half hour to spare, I actually suggest that you go watch it now or later, doesn't really matter, but it has some really interesting and sometimes problematic perspectives on being a woman on YouTube and what that means and why there are and aren't women on YouTube. The ultimate question of this section was, why are there not more YouTubers who are female on YouTube, and why aren't they more popular? Well, I'm sure I could answer that. Why aren't there more women? Well, putting yourself up on the internet is terrifying. I mean, especially as a woman, there's a very specific way that you're supposed to look and sound and act, as well as having the added pressure of actually having to create good content. If you're a woman, you already have a bajillion societal expectations of what you should be like in your day-to-day life, but then being on YouTube, there's this added pressure of what you should be like, and that is scary for a lot of young girls. They're obviously not going to take that risk, especially if the pressure in day-to-day life is hard. They're not going to add added stress of the potential of people making rude anonymous comments to them. I think for everyone there's always this massive fear that people are going to hate you or make negative comments or dislike your video. But for women, unlike male YouTubers, it's very different, where when you get to a certain level and popularity, if people don't like what you have to say, you get very sexually explicitly violent comments, and a lot of those are very triggering and hard to ignore. And sometimes it's easy to say, you know, just brush it off. But as a woman living in this world, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to just brush that sort of thing off. I mean, we can make reference to last year's incident of Feminist Frequency receiving all of those violent comments when she decided that she wanted to analyze the role of female video game characters, and for some reason a lot of people had a really big issue with that. What's sad but not surprising is that a lot of the women in the Becoming YouTube series have said that they just sort of get used to hate, and they feel like as women, because of previous bullying in their lives, they've become better equipped to deal with this sort of harassment on YouTube and in their comment boxes. Like Hazel said, she said she's learned to brush it off or just laugh about some of the derogatory comments that have been made about her. Just because women have learned to brush it off, does that really make it okay for it to still occur? And does that really answer the question of why there's not more success of women on YouTube and the reasons behind that? And personally, I don't think it does. I mean, when anyone rises to YouTube stardom, as they call it, you run the risk, especially the more popular you become, the greater your audience is, you have that availability of people being able to make really horrible comments about you and directly to you on the things that you're proud of and the things that you create. Receiving negative comments can't be the sole reason why women feel like they can't be successful or rise to stardom on YouTube. I think if the segment of Becoming YouTube was trying to encourage women and more young women to get involved in YouTube and start creating content, I think it definitely missed the mark. In a lot of ways, their encouragement towards women was really scary and really intimidating by saying, you know, if you're a woman on YouTube, keep doing what you're doing and make good content and the views will come. But that's not necessarily the case. It's definitely not that simple. So maybe then it's all that pressure that tells female YouTubers, you have to be good because you have to prove yourself as a woman. If you're bad on YouTube and you're a girl, then you're just proving why women aren't more famous on YouTube, or you're just showing that women aren't capable of being funny or talented or creative or thoughtful or intelligent and also being aesthetically pleasing on camera at the same time. If you're bad and you're female, it's like, oh, well, I guess there's a reason why more female YouTubers aren't famous. I think a lot of answers to these questions also really depend on whether or not you see fame or visibility on YouTube as important and what that recognition really means and if it matters. There's an incredible network of female YouTubers called Wonderly, and even though they aren't the Jenna Marbles or community channel of YouTube, they are still really great and talented and also really care about making videos, and they love doing it. And I think that's really what matters. I'm definitely not offering any sort of solutions or answers to these kinds of problems, just more questions. I don't think female creators should ever feel invalidated if they don't make the best content or have the highest quality videos but still want to share them on the internet. Obviously, Hannah and I wouldn't be making these videos if we thought that that was the case. I just want to know why it's so difficult for women to really get their content out on YouTube. Or is that even really the problem? I don't know. Maybe the issue is that we're just not looking hard enough. Until next time, see ya!